Howdy, all of you delicious people. I'm here today to review Frankenstein. Really, this movie just comes off as like a hunt film where we just kind of show Adam's origin story of how he eventually became this Frankenstein's monster. And then he goes on to just get chased for a number of 200 years. And then all of a sudden, like, this book comes to light, and everybody's like, oh my god, now we need to go on and chase after this book. But wait a minute, what if the book doesn't exactly work? Maybe we have to go on and then try and get the book, and then Adam, because we don't want to just break up this set. And and like that's what this movie kind of becomes, this like hunting, catching film, which I have fun with. We finally go on and have like this interesting approach at both angels and demons, even though a lot of people would probably have complaints about it. I found this movie to just be fun. We have, of course, angels who are gargoyles. We have demons that are just be these guys who eventually burn their human-like faces to show their demonic-looking side, as if they're like the Wishmaster. If anybody has seen that Wes Craven movie, probably not, which I can understand that. So the nitty-gritty of this is, like, I also wanted to see a Frankenstein film, but I wanted to see, like, a Frankenstein film that is very unique. Like, I know there is that one, like, James McAvoy, like, Frankenstein film movie out there, but I think I've seen a lot of, like, James McAvoy films lately, and I kind of wanted to change it up or switch it up and do something different. And also realizing that Frankenstein was actually from off of a comic book that actually was to have, I guess, been created by the guy who is to be Decker within this film, interestingly enough. So it is kind of funny because in this movie for Frankenstein, we have technically two people that were in the movie Underworld that is also in this film. And I'm like, yeah, like, of course. Because that's, like, really cool. We really have Bill Nye, that, of course, is to be the main villain of this story. If he hasn't technically been a main villain in any number of things, like, but it's great. He, of course, plays Naberius. Sure. So, yeah, so I just had fun with this story, but not everybody will, and I completely get that. Go out of your way to say that you've seen this film, because conveniently, it's on Netflix right now. I was kind of surprised and shocked by that. While I was kind of just, like, thumbing through Netflix, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, Frankenstein is on Netflix? Because I would have never thought in a million years that, like, a movie like this would be conveniently on Netflix. I would have thought it would have been on, like, a Hulu or some kind of tube. Like, I would have probably thought Tubi, if anything else. Or because Vudu, like, has kind of, like, a weird random barrage of things. But a lot of times it's not conveniently for free. So, yeah, so definitely check this out currently on Netflix. Until it eventually is not on there anymore. Because I'm sure by the time that I probably do this review, that's the one time they're like, yeah, let's kick this Frankenstein thing out. But yeah, I really wanted to go on and watch some kind of interesting, based on comic book-esque kind of film. And this just so happened to be it. Because I just like to do comic book movies. So with that said, the grading system upon this movie, I would have to go and say that this movie is to be, it's kind of an okay, middle-of-the-road kind of movie. Just because, like, it just continues to go on and be, like, the hunt down film And like, I love the action that we get on here. Um, I have fun with the story, and like we have like the demons making their way to where the angels are, and then vice versa. So it's kind of like there isn't this like huge, profound like story the later on we go. Like it kind of gets like simple after like, well, really overall this is a very simplistic film, and that's the thing that I like about it most. Just realizing it's like, well, yeah, like this movie's uberly simple. Um, but with that said, let's just go into that double five time territory. There might be some parts where I may not be very specific about because I might not exactly understand like certain technologies or certain kind of goofy things of what people are using to bring people back to life in some parts of this film, but it is what it is. So let's go out of our way to say that it's about that time to go into the double five time territory. Let's just go into this thing called spoiler time. Spoiler time. It's about that time you need to spoil this movie. So, the very beginning of this film, we of course have Adam, who is to be brought to life by Victor Frankenstein. And Adam is to oddly go on, and I wish that this would have been a lot more explained, or I wish like Victor Frankenstein and Adam would have had a lot more longer stretch of time within the story, or they could have spelled all this out for us. Because Victor Frankenstein is to come home one day realizing that his wife is dead. And so now, in a jealous rage, we have Victor, who is to desperately want to go and seek out his monster, eventually a guy named Adam. And so Adam is to make his way to the Arctic, to where we go on and have Frankenstein, who is desperately trying to chase after him, for him to go on and die from being frozen to death, because Adam is to go to the coldest areas where, of course, he is to not have any problem with any of these kinds of environments because he's technically dead, where Victor eventually is to freeze to death and die. So, Adam is to make his way all the way back to Victor's place and go on and bury Victor Frankenstein. And so all of a sudden we have these demons that are to appear and start attacking Adam. And so Adam, without a weapon to his name, is still going on, and tearing through these demons and killing them off. And we all of a sudden have two gargoyles that appear here, both Ophir and Kazir, or Kazea. Sure. These two angels go on to rescue Adam and help him take down these demons. And so while they're noticing that Victor, of course, is dead, we have one of the angels who is to go on and pick up this book and kind of take with him. Of course, this is the Victor Frankenstein's like journal. So we have these gargoyles who grab Adam and bring them back to their castle of sorts. And so we find out that this whole thing is the Order of the Gargoyles, and that we, of course, have Leonore. Names are kind of confusing. I always get them wrong. So I always have to have a name of names. People should know that by now. Hopefully you don't. It is what it is. So Leonore is to go on and kind of tell Adam all about them being brought to you by the Archangel Michael, is to have brought all these angels down to defend the earth against the demons. So, we of course have Adam, and they're not quite sure what exactly to do with him. And it's kind of funny because Leonore eventually talks in the later part of the movie, and she mentions, like, really at first she wanted to just destroy Adam after she names him, even after she names him, but she realizes that, like, there's something unique about this Frankenstein, and so it was just something about him that was to just say, like, no, like, let's keep this thing alive. So Leonore is to tell the two angels to go and give Adam a weapon, telling him, of course, that they are to have every single one of these weapons dubbed with this kind of religious cross. So of course they would be able to easily take down demons. So Adam goes on and is to get these, like, fighting sticks that have these kind of little little kind of spiky edges at the end of them, and we have it to where, of course, one of the angels is telling Adam, it's like, well, like, those are kind of blunt instruments, and they're kind of like, they're weird things to just kind of hold. Like, you could probably have a number of other items here. Why choose these? And Adam's just like, well, that's just going to be the one thing that I choose then. The most awkward, goofy looking weapons, those are the ones that I'm going to choose. It's basically the equivalent of, like, Donatello breaking his staff in half and just kind of smacking people with sticks. It's a very weird and goofy weapon that Adam wields, or dual wields, but it gets the job done, I guess. So Adam goes and is to eventually go into seclusion for 200 years. He never really gets involved with the earth dweller, whatever people, human dwellers. So 200 years has passed, and finally Adam is to figure out how to get a thing called a haircut. And so all of a sudden we have it where Adam is to start to show himself in a public venue, and so that all of a sudden is to make people realize that, oh my god, like, Frankenstein still exists. Like, we can still go after this guy. We can still go and chase after him and take him out. So, and there's still interested parties, of course there is. So we all of a sudden go on and find that a guy named Napier, or Nabirus, is to go on and have this girl called Tara, who is this woman who is going and trying to bring rats back to life. After she has gone on and killed them, she is trying to figure out how to bring them back to life. And coincidentally, she goes on and figures out how to bring some rat back to life. And so they're like, okay, so we figured out how to bring a rat back to life, but now we have to figure out how to make a human come back to life. So they don't know if they can repeat the same process or if it'll really work for a human. So they're kind of still chasing after both Frankenstein and still chasing after, like, some kind of information to eventually figured out how to reanimate a human body. So Adam is to again make his way into town, all of a sudden to be approached by a number of demons. And so all of a sudden there is to be one officer that ends up getting killed by a demon. All of a sudden these angels start swooping in. And so they go on and they grab Adam and they toss him back into the gargoyles. And they're like, hey, like you let an innocent human get killed. Adam was like, well, hey, like I was defending myself. And really the gargoyles is like, the point of that is like they don't want to see like humanity, like see these fights between demons and angels. They want to kind of keep this kind of hush hush. And Frankenstein is kind of, or Adam is kind of conflicting with that. So we have Adam being kept by these gargoyles, and so eventually we just have it to where the demons are to realize that Adam is back in town, where we of course have one demon that goes to Nibiru's and is to say like, hey, yeah, like, hey, Adam's back in town, Frankenstein's monster's back in town, and I think I heard him. I don't know, and the one guy thought like, yeah, I kind of ran off so I can tell you this story. And Nibiru's is like, well, I would have liked it a lot more if you would have brought back Frankenstein's monster. I would have liked that a lot more than you just telling me this story that he's back in town. I could care less. Like, if he's not in my hands right now, just face to face, like... So, I would immediately just kill that guy off. It's just because, God, I have imbeciles all around me. What the fuck? So, kind of like how Red Skull went on and was like fighting Captain America in the first Avenger movie, and all of a sudden the one guy used to come to Red Skull and he's like, yes sir, we fought to our last man, and Red Skull is like, evidently you didn't, because pow. Like, so we have the demons that are just like, you know what, like, I guess we're gonna have to go and battle against these gargoyles to try to get Adam back. And so let's definitely go on and like try to go after them. So they go on and they lock Adam away, and like two angels are kind of watching over Adam consistently. And so all these demons start swarming into this castle. All the gargoyles are starting to like, all right, like let's go on and take all these demons out. And it gets to the point where we're basically having these demons like scraping at the door of course where Adam is, and Adam is begging to have these two angels kind of let him loose so he can defend himself and kind of fight alongside them and help them. And so they go on and do so. And the sad part of this is, like, we kind of have this battle that is to kill both of these angels that have gone on and been really kind to Adam at some points or another. So I think Orpheus ends up getting killed first, and then Kazea ends up getting killed after that. And Adam's like, well, hey, like, I'm going to try to do my best to try to, like, heal you so you won't, like, ascend. And she's just like, no, like, if Orpheus dead, I might as well just follow him. And Adam's like, okay, like, that's what you want. Because supposedly the Order of the Gargoyles, like, they couldn't be together. and so she wanted to ascend, hopefully thinking that that role doesn't abide in heaven. So yeah, go on and just ascend all you want. So we find out that these gargoyles, it seems like they're not like getting their ranks like replenished. And we go on and we just start to like find out like over the years like their numbers have started to dwindle. It's kind of like Henry Cavill's The Witcher, where we kind of have the gargoyles who are kind of like the Witcher equivalent, where like these characters have like powers, but like there's only so few of them, and it doesn't feel like they're getting new angels anytime soon. But the demon's master plan is for them to try and increase their number substantially by bringing back and reanimate bodies that don't have souls, so a demon can just go on and slip right into some body to control it, and like that's their big master plan. So while while going on into this fighting, we I want to try to get this correct, this transition correct. So let me pause here for 1 second. All right. We have it where Leonore, of course, is to be by herself, kind of praying away about this battle, hoping for the best. And all the rest of the gargoyles are all going on and battling and fighting, and they're kind of getting further and further away from this castle. And so we, of course, have Adam that is going and grabbing one of these demons to try to figure out like what their grand master plan is. And so of course the demon is to mention that their plan is to have a bargaining chip, have take something from the angels to have them give up Adam. If they can't quite get to Adam, then they'll figure out a way how to. And so one of the demons goes on and crashes through the chapel where Leonore is praying, grabs her, takes her, and we of course have Adam that's like, oh my god, like this is a ruse. Like this whole battle was just a distraction for what they were trying to really take, which wasn't exactly me, because they were looking and trying to get to this angel this whole entire time to have some kind of bargaining chip to trade me over. And so Adam goes and takes this demon and dunks him into this like holy water, and kills him off. And so Adam is kind of let everybody know like what's going on and what it all came down to. And so Gideon is aware that there is a Victor Frankenstein journal that, of course, one of the angels had took from once before. And so Gideon is going and finding the spot where Leonore is with this demon to bargain this journal for this gargoyle, and or otherwise this Leonore would die. Leonore is convincing Gideon to have not gone on and do this bargain, just let her ascend and like everything will be fine. And Gideon is to go on and tell his other angels that they desperately need to have Leonore here, or otherwise, like they will, of course, have no leader. Because I guess Gideon isn't going to step up and want to be the next leader if Leonore dies. So Gideon goes on, and of course, is to make this trade, this bargain, and so this demon is to go off with this book. We, of course, desperately have Adam that's kind of running off to try and retrieve this book. And so that leads him into this this demon's lair, this demon's home, and once the demon side of things are going to get this book, and Nibiris is going and giving Tara this book, Tara starts reading it and she starts understanding it, realizing that there had been a number of eels that had been placed to bring Adam back to life. And so the one doctor is going and talking to Tara, and he's like, well, like, if that's what it took to, like, bring him back to life, like, what would it take to go on and kill him? Like, is he unkillable? Is he like a Jason Voorhees kind of guy? Like, no matter how many times you, like, slice and dice him, he'll just come back? He'll just kind of reattach his body back together and Humpty Dumpty himself? Who knows? It didn't seem like this movie goes to that absurd, extensive approach in whichever. But it does seem like this character does get wounded, so he gets stabbed in the back at some point. And then, like, we, of course, have Tara who's, like, sewing him up. So Adam goes back into the lair of things and is to go on and retrieve this book, but not only that, he takes Tara because it seems like he is not only going to... Or wait. Because he retrieves the book, but then he doesn't really understand the book. And so then Adam comes back to grab Tara, and they realize that because they're like, yeah, this guy isn't going to be smart enough to understand this, and Tara will. So Adam goes on and he grabs Tara and runs off with her, but kind of demons are to follow. Adam is, of course, trying to explain to Tara what's really going on. That there, of course, are gargoyles who are angels, and the people that she's working for are demons. And she's like, I don't believe that whatsoever. All of a sudden, we have one of these demon men that shows his true face, and she's like, oh, So, we have Adam who is facing off against this demon. And so the thing about it is the demon says, is like, well, like like our prince wants you alive, so I'm not going to be able to kill you. But it's not like you're going to exactly knock this guy out either. So this demon, of course, ends up getting dusted. And so Adam goes on with Tara, and Adam is to kind of get sewed his back up, and he rests, and Tara starts reading more of that book, trying to understand it more, and so we also have Adam that has made it to, of course, the demon headquarters and realize like what experiments they're doing, seeing that there is to be a plethora of dead bodies. that are to be placed to be reanimated. And so now Adam has to go on and explain all this to the gargoyles, to just be like, hey, like, yeah, like this is what's going on. It seems like they are to figure out how to reanimate people, and they're going to have all of these people eventually getting possessed, so a bunch of demons can just fall into them. And like these are like thousands strong, and so they're gonna kind of take over the world. So we so we have it, of course, where God, like these transitions are so goofy and so weird. That I have to kind of figure them all out. Where all the pieces fall everywhere. Uh, God. So Adam, of course, is to make his way to try and lead the gargoyles to where the demons are, because the demons, I guess, like they'll go and they'll find them out in the street somewhere, but they don't actually know where they actually really legitimately hang their hat. So we have Adam that is to also be hunted down by the angels. Because Leonore is telling Gideon, like, hey, go on and go and find that book and destroy Adam. So we can have, like, the best of both worlds where they don't either have Adam or they don't have this book. And so we, of course, have Adam that gets this axe, and both Gideon and Adam are fighting it out. And Gideon is to have this like axe that he kind of made from all these pieces and put them together and made this big axe. And so Adam is going on and finding Gideon, and Gideon, while trying to land onto Adam, is to accidentally pierce himself with his own weapon. And Gideon is mentioning to Adam that God is going to damn you. And Adam's like, well, he already did. So Gideon is to ascend. And so since Adam is kind of facing off against all these angels, he's like, well, F it. Like, I'm going to have all these angels come on down. Like, follow me. Like, I'm going to show you exactly where the demons are to, of course, like I'm going to show you their home. I'm going to show you exactly where they are, so we can go and have this big, massive battle, and finally we can just kind of have both of you guys just wipe one another out if that's what it takes. But at least this will all be over. So Adam goes on and is to start fighting these big, massive demons. Of course, one of them being Dekar. And so, all of a sudden, the angels start chiming in. They're like, heck yeah, let's get into this fight. And they're just decking all these demons. So, Adam just kind of strolls into the lab to go on and try to possibly take down this whole experiment, to try and hope that he can be able to, like, any of the stuff that they are to have, all the data they're to have on this experiment is to be useless. But we go on, we have one random doctor, Mikolai, who is to kind of take this one USB, and he's to like scramble out of there. He's like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's kicking off, but at least I'll be the guy that has this one thing. So Nibiru is to finally show his true form to Adam, and is to go on and fight Adam off here. And we of course have Terra that's also kind of mixed into this whole thing. And so we have at one point where this machine is turning on and starting to electrify this hospital bed, and Nibiris ends up almost chucking Terra, and Adam kind of saves Terra from being electrified and pushing her off, and so then Adam kind of falls over. Because it seems that also Terra is to be the key to all this, as we have it where possibly like Victor Frankenstein's book is going to be null and void at some point, and to where Adam has to realize it's like, well, like maybe I don't need the book anymore. Maybe I just need Terra, and maybe that'll be it. And maybe she'll turn into a Frankenstein also, without a soul. That'll be weird. So Adam starts going on and fighting Nibiris in his true form, and he's like the Prince of Demons and all this goofy crap. And so we have Adam that's kind of slicing through Nibiris, and then he realizes that there's enough slices within this guy's chest to create this cross on Nibiris's body that, of course, is just like the cross of any of the other weapons that the angels are to use. So Nibiris is to all of a sudden like descend, and so we have this big massive fire that just kind of comes from all over places, like 4 different kind of spots, and then all kind of goes down into this lab, and we have it to where this whole building is just destroyed and is just going underground, and just luckily we have both Adam and then Terra that gets out of there just at the nick of time, because of course they do. And so really we just have at the end of it where we have both Adam and Terra realizing that they're going to be there for one another, and that now all the demons are technically wiped out, and Adam is kind of doing like the end of Punisher, where he's just kind of waiting for the next demons to just crop up. Because Nibirius is to mention that he had set up franchises. There's a ton of different kind of demon homes and spots and whatever for possibly different countries or different parts of the world. And maybe it's going to be possible that Adam is going to have to try and figure out a way to seek those out to take those down also. And so maybe that might have been a sequel if we were to ever have one. But again, we have like Adam, who has this kind of narration that of course is to like, I am the defender of the against the demon horde. I am the like, I will go against this and that. And I, Frankenstein. To where we kind of have this like mixing up where he doesn't like go and just continues to just say I. He kind of goes on like these like kind of curvy ways, and but then he keeps sticking like I in there somewhere to where you're just like, okay, when are you gonna say it? And then he's like, I, Frankenstein. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's how we get to the title. So yeah. Yeah, a fun film, and luckily it didn't take me too long to talk about all this. I went into like some points where I'm like, oh my god, like this transition to this movie is just so difficult. So I apologize for those moments where I just had to like draw blank for a couple of minutes until I had to figure out exactly how to piece these all things together. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie nonetheless. Tried my best to just try to do this review. So with that said, I'm going to get out of here. Bye, buddy. Bye, buddy.